You're listening to Everything in the Gym podcast. This is a fitness fun episode.
Hello. Welcome back to Everything and the Gym. I'm your host, Shelby, and today we are doing a fitness fun episode. We will bounce around through different topics, and I have a special guest for today. Who are you?
Hey, how are you? My name's Pete. Nice to meet you guys.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm happy to be here. This is a much more extravagant setup than the first time, even though the first time was still very nice too. But this is a very nice setup.
It's night and day compared to when we were sitting in my kitchen.
Where has it gone? As far, like insights on Instagram, where has it progressed since then? What have you seen, or what's your projections moving forward?
We are getting more traction because we have video. That's one thing. When Mara came on, she was like, "Why are you not doing video?" I'm like, "I don't know how. I don't know what I'm doing." So traction is flowing pretty well. We're now on TikTok, so it's kind of cool to see.
That's cool. I gotta get on there with you.
I was gonna ask you if you had TikTok.
I do have TikTok. Yeah, I just transformed it into my business.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, TikTok is the only account that I have, the only social media account that I have that I didn't start from scratch when I started this business. So I'm gonna have to. But I post something. TikTok's so funny because I don't really pay attention to it as much, and that's how it's actually now how I'm starting to go about Instagram. I just have all my notifications shut off, and I only get notified for. Actually, I get no Instagram notifications whatsoever now at all. I only go on there. I have times. I have time scheduled for when I go on there. I have DMing times. I have times for outreach, things like that. So I have specific times for posting, stuff like that too. So, but yeah, for TikTok, it's so funny because I think that like when I first was doing the whole Instagram thing, I was very meticulous about the you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, that, and the third, whatever, in order to make your page grow. And then I just stopped and then with TikTok, I would get like 5 videos that I've posted on my Instagram and post all 5 of them at once. And then I would get like 200, 300 notifications from TikTok. And I'm like, I should just not pay attention. That's what I need to do, is just stop focusing on the social media. And it's got significantly easier and way more seamless, way more manageable now. That is the one thing too about like the whole social media aspect to all of this, is that it's like, it's amazing to see, well, nobody talks about how hard of work this is. Nobody talks about that. And I feel like it's greatly, like, especially in this, like people that are not in the industry, I feel like just visualize, like seeing these people all the time, like you're, like, one of the most popular times to post is like midday on Tuesday. And you want to know why? Because people are at work and they're bored. Right, so people are at work and they're scrolling through their phones and they see some dude like, talking through a podcast mic, and they're just like, oh, that job's so easy. And they don't understand that, like, my girlfriend's asked me to stop working every night. Every night I get asked to stop working like 3 or 4 times, to the point where like I'm on my iPad or my phone or my computer and she'll text me and be like, get off your phone, like, whatever.
That's exactly why I have a social media manager. I can't, when Taryn was like, I want to help you, what can I do? And I was like, I don't know yet. And then before we even had TikTok, I was like, oh my gosh. Because you're like trying to grow your personal page, and then you're trying to grow like something completely different. And then you get sucked into like, well, I'm on here. What's going on?
Yeah.
What are these people posting? And when we started season 2, it's crazy because that's one of the most things that people have brought up is like social media and how much our lives are consumed on social media right now. And somebody made the comment of like, I need to stop looking whenever I wake up in the morning. And so after we recorded that episode, I went and looked. They have these apps will block other apps for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I downloaded it because it's overwhelming. All the social media platforms and like what you could post and where you could go and how you could get there and all these other things that go into social media, because it is a lot.
Yeah.
And it is a fully working, you've got to know like what to post, when to post, what audios are trending, what's not trending. And so from 4:30 to 6 a.m., I cannot look at my phone.
Yeah.
My apps are blocked and it is just me, and honestly, it's been a breath
Well,
of like fresh air.
the internet is extremely honest.
Yes.
And so, I mean, you might not think that like, okay, so I didn't get a hate comment today in my DMs or in my comment section or whatever. That's fine, but like my video flopped, so it's like, it's not necessarily, I'm not saying that that's something that you have to dive into and be like over meticulous about or overwhelmed with it. But it is definitely something that's like, okay, well, let's find out why it flopped. Is it the topic that we talked about? Is it the hook that I started with the video? Like I have to create my scripts and do all research on everything I do. That's why I texted, because I have a coach. So I have a business coach that has a whole team. So I don't really have a setup all like this, but I'm at kind of like the stage prior to where I'll be hiring probably a coach and a virtual assistant here, definitely within the next 6 months, but I'm hoping sooner. But yeah, so like it's always like interesting to look at, you're always wondering like, what is it about the video? Is it like, is it like my hook? So it's like every day that I wake up, it's like I'm gonna and I changed from posting 5 times a week to now 3 times a week, because the energy that I have to put into these videos, the setting it up, and then also the research to make sure, of course, I don't want to post anything that's false also. Most of it comes from my own organic knowledge, but I'll definitely be doing a lot of research, which is something that I wanted to, this wasn't specifically the topic that I was going to talk about today, but I did want to mention to you that like, I learn every day. Like you were talking about, you learn every day.
Yeah.
I learn stuff about my own industry, about stuff like things that were so simplistic, like little tips and tricks, or like a way to explain something. It's like I might have known something in the first place. I might have known, I can take anybody and put them on, a customized diet and fitness plan and help them lose weight. But like, I might have known something, or I might have just learned something that was like a way significantly easier to explain it to people. Like the whole theory that I've told you before with the hoodie and turning your mirrors around, like that was things I've had. Like 4 clients have been like, have their weight loss process is extremely seamless now compared to when I first met them, and they listen way better, and the results are coming in. And not only that, one of the coolest things that like comes along with the visual results is the internal results that these people feel. And it's always the same thing. It's always like, I just feel way more energetic. My arms feel loose and not stiff. Or I just got a text yesterday. One of my clients' blood pressure went down. He has high blood pressure, and I don't remember the exact numbers off the top, but I remember looking 118 over 80, and I'm pretty sure that's like right there.
Really
that's the
good.
range. Yeah. And before that, it was like extremely high blood pressure. So like it wasn't even my intention to like solely target his blood pressure. That was just kind of like, a lot of people feel like there's this specified medicine that needs to be taken care of, or that needs to be taken for everything that we have. And the reality is it's a lot like life is easily our medicine. Like we can, like fitness, just going to the gym or getting active in some way whatsoever, going for a walk around the neighborhood. I try to tell my cousin and his wife, they got 4 kids. I'm like, just push the stroller around the neighborhood. They have a child in a stroller and 3 other children. I'm like, just go for a family walk. Like you're doing way more than just improving your health. Like you think you're going on this walk just to improve your health, but your kids are going to pick up a dead lizard and they're going to remember that for the rest of their life, or whatever, like, or they're going to hang a lizard from their ear like we used to do when we were kids, or I don't know if they still do that nowadays, but like, you didn't do that?
No. You hung lizards from your
Did you do that? Yeah. So yeah, you like never took a
I'm like, that's.
You never took a lizard and like have a lizard hang from your ear?
Or frogs, they bite. So like,
Do you let them bite you?
Yeah, but it's not like it doesn't hurt. It's like a little lizard.
No.
I mean, I was a child. so I'm not really gonna justify my actions here. But yeah, anyways, the whole point of this is that I can't tell you the amount of times that I've had clients come to me and I want to try to portray this next couple sentences as genuine and as genuine as I possibly can. But there's so many clients that come to me with a multitude of different specified problems, and they generally think that they need some type of special approach that's going to fix their problem. Different from like, oh, I'm not like going to be your typical client. I'm going to be probably your most difficult client because I have XYZ. And the first thing we want to do is get you on a better diet, get your nutrition right. So after we get your nutrition right, then we can further assess things, because I can't tell you anything if you're not feeding your body with proper fuel. I can't really, I'm not your doctor. So if you have such an exaggerated problem that, if you have such an exaggerated problem that you think is such a special case, then you need to go see a doctor. But 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you, like 9 times out of 10, okay? And I've dealt with, you saw the text that I sent you. I've dealt with, menopausal clients to young teenage boys, to diabetes, to like blood pressure problems. So I've dealt with a significant amount of problems, and I have not yet crossed my fingers, knock on wood. I have not yet come across something that we haven't been able to tackle, something that I was able to tell a client like, hey, you need to go seek further medical attention for this. One of the things I constantly hear, and even not just from clients, but even from consultations that I take, potential clients, phone calls that I hear, it's always like, they always have all my clients have done really well, and they've done amazing jobs, and the feedback and motivation that I hear from them is something that I look for as a coach, because you can't be involved in this if you have no passion to change yourself. But yeah, a lot of the consultations that I'll take and certain things, they will tell me that there's always some specific problem that they're trying to overcome, and then 9 times out of 10, it's usually pretty easily fixed.
Diet has a big thing in all, like everything though.
Yeah. So, well, one of the biggest things, right? And yeah, I love that we're going to talk about hormones today. One of the biggest things is your consumption of fat, of healthy fats, right? And your consumption of healthy fats has a massive role in your hormone control.
What is considered healthy fat?
Well, okay, so breaking it down further, if we're going to talk about the exact micronutrients that we want to look for, if you look on the back of a label, typically what you'll see on the back of a label is you'll see fat, you'll see calories, and then I think the very first thing is going to be fat. The very first macronutrients is fat, and then I think it's carbs, and at the very bottom it's protein. And if you ever notice that a label looks this long, okay, well, in the size of it, okay, but like if you were to have like a water bottle, like a small, let's say this is like a bottle of juice, the label would take up nearly the whole cover, top to bottom. But there's only three macronutrients on there: fat, carbs, protein. And you'll ever notice that the fat has fat, and then underneath it, it should say, in this order, it should say trans fat and then saturated fat. I think it might be the other way around, but I'm pretty sure it says trans and then saturated. And then below that, it'll say carbs, and then it'll break that down. It'll say fiber. It'll say added sugars. It'll say added sugars. So we have like sugars that we get from bananas, and then we have added sugars. Or like, for example, a cup of like pineapples, like the dole that you get, you'll have like sugars in there, and then you'll have added sugars in there. But anyways, a fat. Okay, so a fat, it should usually look trans fat and then saturated fat. And then what you don't see on there typically, okay, so let's put it like this. So when we're looking for macronutrients, when we're looking for healthy fats, okay, we're basically not looking for trans and we're not looking for saturated fats, okay? So they only put trans and saturated fats on there because we can assume that if it says 9 grams of fat in there and it says 1.5 grams of saturated fat and 0 grams of trans fat, then you can assume that 7.5 grams is healthy fats. Okay, you know what I mean? So that's why they don't necessarily always label on your general products. Like if you're looking for a healthy product, specify it in the health industry. Like if there's like a healthy sauce, they will typically put on there like mono unsaturated fat, stuff like that. So anyways, to go into the next step, that's what a healthy fat is. That's what you're looking for is unsaturated fats. All right. So you're looking for mono and polyunsaturated fats. And so that is the specific micronutrients that you're looking for when you want to see, when you are looking for things on the bottle. But if you're actually at the grocery store and you want to just find something, the easiest way to do it is just look for things that have less saturated fat. Just look for things that are low in saturated fat. That's really the number one diet hack when it comes to buying sauces and dressings and all that kind of stuff. Because again, and this is a quote that I'm going to steal from somebody else, but you're stepping over nickels to pick up pennies, right? And what that really means is if it's labeled as 9 grams of fat and 1.5 grams of saturated fat, 0 grams of trans fat, then we are to assume that the other grams of fat are probably healthy fats, right? They're going to be healthy fats. So all these questions that we get as fitness coaches, like, oh, should I be having this, that, and a third, whatever it is, like, oh, I heard sauces are bad. It's like, well, why are sauces bad? I eat 8 meals a day, and all of them have hot sauce on them. Like wing sauce from Walmart brand sauce. So like, it's not like something special. It's not like something crazy. It's the great value sauce. Yeah. So, but you go on there and you see it and they have like low fats on there. So anyways, that is the micronutrients you're looking for. As far as the food that you want things like avocados, olive oil, nuts, whole raw nuts, other good sources of fats. I said avocados, right?
Yeah, avocados have a lot of benefits.
Yeah, a lot. Avocados are really awesome.
Yeah.
They're super packed in nutrients. But overall, I mean, typically just the things that you want to look for in a diet are like all the natural things, right? You want to look at single ingredients meals when you're making meals. That's the main thing you're looking for. So obviously the easiest example of that is chicken and rice. And not everybody wants to eat chicken and rice. Totally get that, right? But when I go out to Outback Steakhouse, right, I get a fatty steak with a potato because I'm getting my fat, my protein, and I'm getting a complex carbs. So, and not anything processed, not anything, bull crap. Like we're getting good food. So, yeah, you want to look for. I don't off the top of my head. I don't have the entire list of healthy fats, but yeah, the main ones are going to be nuts, avocados, and oils. Typically, that's what a lot of my clients do. There's more options that are in there. Fish is a great source of fat as well. Obviously, it's a great source of protein, but it's a great source of fat. You don't want to consume too much fish because it has a lot of omegas in it too. So you don't want to just overdo it. I mean, but you definitely are at will to consume it pretty liberally, I think.
All right. So, one of the topics you brought was you wanted to talk about being a coach.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you asked for a fun topic, right? Something that is like fun and fitness related. I'm trying to think of generally what is fun that's fitness related. Well, I think that typically when people get involved into fitness more and more, it becomes more fun to them. It's very fun to me. I consider it nearly my playground, and I have, a lot of people that are at my gym that I go to, the community. That is my only social community. So, I mean, I work remotely, so that is my social community. So I find it very fun to go to the gym and being a coach. But more specifically, being a coach, what makes it fun is I think that after years and years of being in a career field where like everything is like, well, screw it, we're gonna be screwed anyways. I think the general attitude of the military is kind of like we're already effed, so we might as well just like live our life as if we are, we might as well live our life as if we're already on the edge. So, I think that translating that into being a coach, right? Along with that mindset is a negative mindset. Like you have this idea, it's like, okay, we're going out, drinking, partying, doing whatever we're doing. But at the same time, there's this shadow of, it's like, but we are still in the military, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know how exactly how to explain it. That just feels like a shadow. So going into coaching, the bubbliness, the personalities, the things that people want to talk to me about, I hear about people's kids, and I hear about people's, boyfriends and girlfriends, and, not that I'm not like a dramatic, I'm not into like big into drama, I'm a part of what I do. Part of my job is to hear and listen, especially when you go to a client and you're like, what's going on? And they're like, okay, like, I'm like, what's going on with your food and your training? What's going on this week? And it's like, you're not doing what you should be doing. And it's like, okay, well, I have a husband, or I have my son is doing this, or my girlfriend's doing this, whatever it is. So, that's not the fun part, but the fun part is definitely the reaction of a lot of clients when they're seeing change. That's like one of the coolest things ever. And another thing is when they're seeing change, but on top of that, like their overall aura is just like complete, like on a whole nother level. So it's cool to witness it. Asking that question, like, what's a fun fitness topic? That I was kind of like, when you first said that to me, I'm like, what is fun? Like, what's fun about this, right? Like, particularly when you asked me that, like, I was drowned in work. It was making me, I'm like, this is not fun, dude. Like, the funnest part is like when I get to go to the gym after all this, but like. But like that's like my specific thing. So, but I do think that there's fun in being a coach. I'm always going to try to look for things the glass half full. So when you ask me that, and I'm in the middle of getting drawn in work, I try to think like I always try to think of things that are thought provoking. And you asked me that, and the first thing that came to my head was, well, what's not fun? And then the first thing that was not fun to me, like on an instant reaction, the first thing that was not fun was like, this job is not fun. But then like after you like sit back for a second and you like view everything that you have done, or the things that you help people accomplish, it turns out to be very gratifying, very humbling. I don't know specifically the word fun, but it's definitely enjoyable. For sure. When you get to look at it retrospect. In the moment, certain things suck with like the, posting certain content or taking care of clients, or I told somebody I was going to get something done today and I got swamped. And so now I have to do it first thing tomorrow morning. And I have like a boot camp in the morning. So I got to wake up before the boot camp because I got to like have it to them in their email, like, because I told them I was going to, that's what it's about. But at the end of the day, it's fun. It's fun to get the interactions. It's fun to receive. It's fun to receive all the things that people are accomplishing. So,
I was just having this conversation with Mara yesterday about a lot of times it comes down to reality versus like your emotion. And so like looking at your reality, or like even mine. Like, my reality right now is so good. Like, look at this.
Yeah. This is the coolest thing I've been a part of.
Yes, it is so cool. But then it's like there's always a list and there's always things that have to get done. And no matter like what you delegate, what you put aside, like just life, that's life.
Yeah.
There's always going to be dishes. There's always going to be laundry. There's always going to be, you've got that to-do list to do for work, and it just adds on. And it's crazy how like you can have something so good and your brain is still like,
Yeah. Well, I think with, you know, and this is like the biggest thing that I try to drive to some people. Like my father likes to say, like, you know, this is all fun. You know, this is everybody that's older than me that is not into fitness is always like, well, just wait, you know, just wait until you get older. And and for those that are watching it, like I am humble enough to admit that that anything can happen to me. Tomorrow I cannot be in this work, you know? So like I can, like my dreams that I have plans for like 8 months to 8 years from now, you know, they might not be the reality of tomorrow. So I can totally receive that, you know, I can receive that information that somebody's giving me, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to try to accept that. I'm always going to try to, especially since I'm, you know, since like we're young, I'm going to be like, oh, you know, watch me. You know, watch me do that. I love challenges. I love getting challenged. But what you were saying about, you know, like the dishes and like the task list that you have and everything. And so it's like the things that I think it's so funny, like when your life is not on the right track and you're consuming your time with the things that are considered fun. You're playing video games, you're watching a football game, you're drinking beer, right? Like the fun stuff. Like, and I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to be like facetious when I say any of this. I really mean it. Like, you know, those things are considered fun. I would love to go drink a beer. I would love to go watch football. I'd love to eat pizza and play video games. You know, like those things are really fun. But when you consume those, when you do those things too often, right? I think that like you start to do these, I don't know about anybody else, but with me, let's say that I was to stop doing my daily task list and I was to wake up tomorrow, not do boot camps, and I was to just sit down on the couch and then do my thing, right? Well, okay, that might work for one day. Well, tomorrow's Saturday, so that's probably what I will do tomorrow is relax. But besides that, let's say I was to do that now for the next week, or I mean, in 3 days in my particular company, in my company, 3 days would punish me. It would nearly put me under the ground because I'm that piled on, and things are so like information comes in right now, and I need to execute certain things within 24 to 48 hours most of the time, depending on what it is. However, some things need to be taken care of immediately, you know, especially rework mess ups. Like if I have a client that's really like taking their time, spent their hard-earned money, you know, I'm definitely gonna like drop nearly everything, or within the next hour or two, and I'm gonna be like, let me fix the program. I'm sorry about that, whatever it is. But what I was gonna say about the football, the beer, the pizza, and all that stuff, if I was to do that for, you know, let's say a week or whatever, you know, I'm not turning around any money. I'm not, you know, receiving, you know, my physique is starting to look bad. Now, of course, you know me, or the people watching this might know me as somebody who is a physique competitor. So, of course, that's going to bother me. But, I mean, after a while, I mean, I would think that nearly anybody, you might not be as disappointed in yourself as I am, but you definitely have something to say. Like, if you go in the mirror and you're like, I don't like this. It has to happen, I think, at some point. I think most people have that realistic mindset when they're like, this isn't healthy. What I'm doing isn't healthy. So I go into that by saying that like doing these things on the frequent, they seem fun on surface level, but in retrospect, your life is going to turn out to be miserable. Like if you have done this, you got to do it for 2 days. Like, oh, I didn't have to go to work today. It was a snow day. I got to play video games, whatever it was. And that was cool and all. But like, let's say you had a month's worth of snow days and your rent's due and your girlfriend's upset at you and you can't buy food for the house and your dog has to go to the vet and now you have a tire popped. And it's like, oh my God, like it's all these things that just piled up. And then when you look retrospect, it's miserable, right? But getting tasks done and getting these things done, going back to what my father says is like, oh, like just wait until, you get tired and you get older and stuff. And I totally agree with that. But I try to push fitness or discipline, not necessarily fitness, but when I use the word fitness, I'm talking the whole thing, to include nutrition. I try to push nutrition on a lot of like beginners because a lot of people are just like, I'm not agile enough to move or I'm not limber enough to move. And it's like, okay, well, let's get food in there first. Like, let's try to get something healthy. Like maybe like, I promise you, once you get like a 5 days worth of healthy food in your body's going to say like, hey, let's do something. Like let's go for a walk in the park. Like, oh, that like our dog looks like they need to go on a walk now, and it's like, so tasks and responsibilities, taking care of them on a daily basis, like in like waking up, doing everything one day at a time. Okay, I have to wake up and I have to do X, Y, Z, and then start back over at A and do the whole list over again. And then I'm not going to be done till 9 p.m., and I'm not going to get to watch my TV show because I got to get to bed because I got to be up at 5:20 tomorrow morning. Or right now I'm getting up at 5:05 every morning. So, like I haven't been able to relax much at the end of my night. My girlfriend's asked me multiple times, like, can you please like get off your phone and or get off the iPad or whatever it is because I'm working. But looking at it retrospect, okay, when you're in the nitty gritty and you're on your every single day like grind and you have all these responsibilities that you have to take care of, including your personal responsibilities. So you have responsibilities to take care of your clients, and then you have your personal, like, okay, I have to cook my meals today. I have to do my stuff. Now, all that stuff seems pretty like tedious and stuff, but the victory in the retrospect is so much more gratifying. It's like so cool, so much cooler. Because when you like look at things, when you're doing things like sloppily and you're not really taking care of your responsibilities, you start to get this downer demeanor. And when you're doing this for 2-3 weeks and you're like, this is my life is miserable. My stomach hurts because I'm eating pizza every single day and I'm not really moving as much. I haven't stretched. I haven't done anything. Eventually that fun lifestyle of not doing the responsibilities turns miserable. Now you're doing the fun stuff because it's only there to take up your time, and it becomes just like a part of your life. Like what's something fun that you go do, right? Like if you like are a kid in the 4th of July and you're going to go swimming and eat hot dogs, like that is something that children see that, and the fireworks are like, oh my God, it's so fun. But I guarantee if you did that every day, you'd be like, we got to, like, how many fireworks is it this time? Like how many hot dogs do I got to eat this time? Like how many laps do I got to swim in the pool, this time, whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, the responsibilities are, they suck. But in the retrospect, the gratitude that you receive from the results, or it's not even just the results, because everybody thinks that you have to like punish yourself till you get results, and that's not true. You literally just need to discipline yourself for a reasonable amount of time, and that reasonable amount of time might be different than what I consider reasonable. It might be different for you. Your life is different than mine is. So discipline yourself for a reasonable amount of time in order to enjoy your breaks. Like it used to be, especially like when I was in the military, but since being in the military and then further up to this point, gradually my life has crescendoed into this point where I was doing daily responsibilities. And then it was like, okay, I only have to do this till 5 p.m. And then I get from 5 to 10 to watch football, watch a YouTube video, play video games, whatever it is that I want to do. But now it's becoming, okay, it's Sunday and I didn't get to do what I wanted to do this weekend, so it's gonna have to wait till next weekend. Instead of, well, it's Sunday, maybe I can do it Monday afternoon after 5. No, I don't have time to do Monday afternoon after 5. I have other stuff that needs to be taken care of. So now I'm at the point where things are nearly on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, where I'm getting to plan out my moment of enjoyment.
When you go to post on social media, do you think about like what other people are thinking of you as you post that? Because a lot of times females, that's the thing. It's like, is my wrinkle showing? Is my leggings, do they look silly in this side? Because somebody's going to say something along the lines, as like a man, you're like, oh, my beard hair, it's like sticking up to one way.
I will look at some of my videos and I'll notice things, but they don't really bother me as much anymore. But primarily because I don't think that like one video will judge me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really scared of one video. And I see this often with like new coaches too. Not that I'm not a new coach, but other like coaches that haven't understood like content, like a content rubric and understanding like what social media is. I'm part of another community of other coaches, and they send like their videos all the time. Have you ever noticed, like, you post something, you ever notice you feel so passionate about it, and you're like, oh my God, this is like the coolest video in the world. And you post it, and it gets like 5 likes.
Yeah.
How
does that make you feel, though?
It doesn't, because if you were to ask me this question 5-6 months ago, I would have had a different answer. But now I don't think about that stuff at all anymore. I don't even really, my process is so seamless that when it comes to auto-generated captions and, I read off a script. So, I can't mess up. I notice some things that I mess up. Like sometimes I have like little catchphrases or I say something stupid or whatever. And I'm like, but at the end of the day, I noticed it and you didn't, Or like how I really particularly noticed that was, I remember like when I first moved to Texas in October, I was very judgmental on my physique. And I just looked at my physique 2 days ago of those photos, and I was like, I looked amazing when I was that lean, because now I'm putting on weight to compete. But I looked amazing in that photo, and I literally made a transformation from that physique that I thought was garbage back when I did it, and the freaking post nearly went like locally viral.
Yeah.
It didn't go like big time, but it was one of my top like posts. So I've found that the less attention that I focus on things, not that I'm gonna just do things carelessly, but I'm just saying the less attention that I focus, the less that I worry about certain things, the more, the better the results actually come from it. And that actually is the same way with like, it's amazing that I've learned these things, and I've learned them through fitness, because it's like everything that you have, everything that you've done, like everything that you do, when you first start something, every time that you have any tattoos?
Yes.
Okay. How many tattoos do you have?
I have 3.
When you've got your first tattoo, you might not be like this. People are different, right? But like when you first got a tattoo, your very first tattoo, you were like, okay, how do I take care of this? And they were like, okay, you got to put this stuff on, and you got to wipe it down with the cream, and then you do that like every 3 hours, whatever it was, or you do it like twice a day or 3 times a day, whatever it was. And then by your third tattoo, were you the same way? Yeah. So like my very first tattoo, I was like rubbing the cream on there, and I was like, oh my God, this is like, I need to make sure this is like kept very well. And now I just got a tattoo like a couple weeks ago, and I put cream on it like twice. Like I just let it like naturally dry, like naturally like heal, and they're all the same. They all look the same, like.
Some tattoo guru is out there, and they're like, how dare you?
I can't believe you just said that. They're going to clip it and be like, don't listen to this guy's advice. Some tattoo enthusiast is going to clip this podcast and make it his post. He's going to be like, don't ever listen to this guy.
We're calling you out now.
So, anyways, yeah, that's something that I'm finding is the more often that I put thought into it, the more the crappier the results come out. Like I said, I'm in a community of other coaches, and sometimes I'll send a post in there. It depends if I have like an advertisement that I'm about to post, I don't know if I'm like overly worried about it because I am a business at the end of the day. I do have to advertise my company, but I am concerned about showing the right light. So when for example, I made an ad once that I didn't post, and the challenge that I made in the ad was, I don't even know. The challenge that I made in the ad was something like 50 pounds in 12 weeks. And I sent it to like men, right? Because it was like an advertisement for men. And I was like, what do you think about this? And some of them responded back to me saying like, 50 pounds in 12 weeks, dude, you sounds like you're fake, or whatever. And I'm like, that's realistic. I think that that's realistic. Like 3 months, but we're not talking about 50 pounds of fat. Okay, we're talking about 50 pounds. We're talking about, this advertisement was specifically for obese men. So if you're 350 pounds, you can lose 50 pounds in 3 weeks or 3 months. And somebody said to me once is like, you shouldn't make you shouldn't post that because it seems unrealistic and nearly like scammy. So I do take opinion sometimes. I'm never worried about something after I post it. I'm always worried. Sometimes I will get an idea of something. I'll send it to my girlfriend or my mom, or I'll send it to other coaches or whatever. But I'll definitely get an opinion on some things. I might even have a client or two that I'm like, hey, what do you think about this video? So I always do that, especially nowadays with the content that I post. The content that I have now is scripted, and I make it organically. I figure it out, and I read it to the phone. I read it to the video, and then I just chop it up. So by the end of it, I made a 5-minute video that turned into a 53-second Instagram video, and I watched the whole thing, and everything's good. There's no mess ups. There's nothing that's really wrong with it because I've made a professional script out of it. But what people want me to start doing, I've already talked to this about some of my followers, that people that are not my clients, but people that are looking out for me. And I'll be like, what do you think about today's post? I don't need like anything special. I just want a general, I'm not looking for this post to go viral. I'm looking for it to occupy space on my page, and I'm looking for consistency because, if I just keep posting content like this in 6 months, in 6 months, I'll have 60, 70 videos or whatever it is. And one of these videos is bound to, have 1,000, 2,000 likes. I'm also not looking for something to go 118K. likes. I don't need that. I actually don't want that, to be honest with you. I'm fearful of that. Yeah. I am fearful of my audience growing too large for myself. And that if that was the case, if I went like overnight stupid viral, I would hire a whole team, and I would not be hands-on at all. But I do have like people that I will talk to and be like, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about today's post or whatever, just to kind of get an idea of, the common, the general public that's watching my videos, just because I want to see. I mean, I don't want something. I guess sometimes I do worry that like I come off as like pompous or cocky, so I always have to like ask like my girlfriend if I came off like that or whatever, because I don't want to be perceived like that at all. And I think that I personally think that I've been unfairly judged in the past with that. So. And that's not at all who I am. I think that's so weird because, and that's why I think like none of this, well, some things don't make sense because like I'll get into like a beef with somebody at work that I like in my old job. Like I'll have an issue with somebody at work, and then now all of a sudden I'm getting this reputation that I'm like, where did this come from? I didn't do any of this, or I'm not like that. Like, why are you talking about me like that? But then like I'll be walking in downtown Virginia Beach when I lived in Virginia, and I'm walking, and a homeless guy comes up to me right after I just got done telling somebody else that I think it's funny how approachable people think that I am. And this guy walked up to me, and he was like, "Hey," and I'm like, and I was just like, I didn't have any money at the time, but we walked away, and I looked over, and I was like, why do I always get approached? So it's weird because it's like some people find me approachable, and I guess some people find me pompous. So you just got to live through it. It is what it is. At the end of the day.
So how do you think people perceive you between your bulk and like your shred you're cutting down?
You're definitely going to get more interaction with a shredded physique. Unless your muscle tissue is so obvious that unless you're oblivious, you will not, like, you have no choice. There are dudes that have a good amount of fat on them, but have so much muscle tissue that you can just see, that's a big dude. That's a real big dude. But I don't know how people see me. To be honest with you,
Do you care?
To be completely honest with you, I care less. I don't want it to make it seem like I'm some like cool dude that like doesn't give a shit. Obviously, I do care about like my perception for sure. But I mean, like, that's what professionalism is. I have professionalism. So at the end of the day, I know what I'm posting. I know what I know. I think that one of the, you want to talk about my different physiques. I think that, yeah, definitely I'll get more visibility with my physiques being like trimmed down. You'll definitely get that because you can see way more of the shreds. You can see way more of the muscle definition. People think that when you go to a competition, people think that like people get so overly worried about having size. They're like, oh, I need to have more muscles. But nobody in a rookie competition, in an amateur competition, is going to have a bunch of muscle. The dude that's going to win is the dude that's the skinniest. So the dude that's the leanest, the most shreddest, you can see his muscles, his striations, you can see everything in his physique. So as far as the public opinion of my physical appearance, I know that people generally people react to shredded physiques more. I don't think that in a broad perspective of it, I don't think that people necessarily pay too much attention of when you're like losing weight and bulking up or whatnot. I think that's more of a personal thing. I know my process. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. So like at the end of the day, if I get a hate comment or if I get somebody that wants to say something about me, it's like, I won't even click on their profile. I don't need to like, you ever look through like comments and somebody's like, of course it's the guy with no profile picture. It's like, I don't even know. I don't care. I don't care if you have a picture of your cat there. Like that doesn't, like, you could be, who do we know? You could be like The Rock and have a fake account and do that. So like, I don't know who's behind that. And, at the same time, if you want to comment on something that I have, I know fitness and nutrition enough to know that no person, we are all like snowflakes. We're all different, like fingerprints, right? So, we are not the same. So like, if you think that I need to conform to exactly what you think I have to be, that's not going to work. Like I might never be able to achieve that. Like my body will never look like that. I don't have, like, for example, I have a big core. I have a very large core. And so my physique doesn't have that slim waist like other guys. Have you ever seen dudes competing in bathing suits? Like, or like bathing suits, like they're swimming in stuff. They're called board shorts, right? So, but that's like a physique competitor, and those guys have like large shoulders and a wide back, a wide V-taper back, and then they have like a real thin waist, like something that you can like grab nearly like this. I don't have a waist like that. I have a very You know, I have a very large build all around. It's not just my waist, but I have a very large build all around. I mean, I have the ability to put on muscle tissue onto my frame. I like, just like other people will not be able to do what I can do as well. So everybody is a fingerprint. Everybody is unique. So I'm not particularly worried about my specific physique. At the end of the day, Peak Physique by Pete, my account and my business is not my advertise. It's not me. It's my business. So I don't really I'll post physique photos of myself on there because it's my social media, you know, and I run the damn account, and I'm do what I want. But at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about that. It's about really what I focus on my account is I want you to see my. Imagine if I was not an online coach. Imagine if I was a realtor, right? What are you going to want to see? Like, do you want to see pictures of my house? You know, if I was a realtor, I'm going to be like, hey guys, I'm going to do a tour of my house. You know, like you don't need to, I'm not selling my house, So same concept when it comes to being an online coach. I'm going to sell the product. I'm not selling myself, If anything, I'd rather post a client's transformation over my own. I only post my own transformations because I have to.
You're trying to catch people.
Yeah, I mean to be completely forward, I have to post my transformations to get a little bit of interactions with people, but I prefer not to. And my plan is to completely not post any of my own transformations, not any transformations of my old self. I mean, I might do a full bulk and then a full cut, and you'll see me as a bodybuilder. I can do a bodybuilding bulk and a bodybuilding cut. That is good for my business. Yeah. That's not like a regular transformation. That's not like a lifestyle transformation. That's a bodybuilding transformation. So that's for competitors, that might be something that I might want to show, but, or I might want to show my clients that, or my general viewers that as well. But I would like to get away from posting my personal transformation. I don't recognize myself like that. I don't see that dude.
Because you don't look in the mirror.
Yeah, well, I look in the mirror a little bit too much, but I mean, in this moment now, I'm looking in the mirror because I definitely want to just continuously see size grow all the time. But I will be starting my cut here within the next 2 months. So I promise you, I'm going to be living by those rules. I promise. I'm not going to have a choice. I'm going to be wearing a hoodie all the time. I'm not going to be able to turn my mirror around because it's on the wall.
Yeah.
But we do have a bedroom mirror. I'm going to turn that one around.
You can hang a sheet.
Yeah, she's not going to like that. I'm going to be just lift it up every time you want to do your makeup.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up with that. Do you have any last words?
No, I'm good to go. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can people find you?
My Instagram is now Peak Physique by Pete, and that's on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, it's all one word. Facebook, it's separated. But you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find me on TikTok too. But I won't get back to you probably.
Well, thank you for coming back. And for those of you listening, this is part 1 of 2 parts for Pete's episode. So make sure you download, like, and subscribe so you can see when all that comes out. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Anyway, toodles, friends. Bye.